Oh shit, we're live!
Oh.
Welcome back to the Authority on Wrestling podcast. This is officially episode 12. We've been doing this shit 3 months now.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. Happy anniversary to us.
Happy anniversary.
If anybody wants to send us like happy anniversary or birthday gifts and memes that are appropriate on Facebook, feel free to do that. Actually, does anybody have posting power on the Facebook? Probably.
Everyone has posting power. Nobody does it.
Nobody actually posts. Nobody interacts
cares
with
about
us. Nobody interacts
We say
with
it
us.
every week.
Give us your thoughts. And like, we get like 3 likes.
Yeah.
All
They
us.
hate us.
All us.
We don't even get likes. On Facebook we do, but on YouTube and stuff, nobody cares.
It might be very telling.
Not even like sympathy likes. Not
Yeah,
even
no,
like,
it's like,
whatever. I'll give them a like.
bad.
I know them, so.
Listen, we're working for quantity over quality here. We're going to just put out videos until we have 1 million hits.
I'll tell you what, with this opening, we'll really win them over.
Yeah.
Do you guys ever think to yourselves, why are we doing this?
Oh. Every time it comes into my mind.
I love it. It's my favorite part of the week.
But yeah, I'm just glad to converse about it and like, whatever, press record too. Whatever. Go.
So anyway, if you guys haven't already figured out, it's your host, me, Matty McKeegs. And then we got Scumbag Mike as always.
Hello.
We have BG back in the room after he was out on assignment last week.
I'm back.
What kind of assignment was that anyway? Did you go see Logan?
That movie was fantastic. Haven't seen it yet.
We want to shoot out a big thanks to Ryan Fogarty from the Average Nobody's podcast and Top Rope Press. He does all their NXT columns for joining us last week. A huge episode,
Yeah.
an hour and 45 minutes.
Beefy.
Yeah, very beefy. It's like Campbell's Chunky Soup. Was that an ad? Did I technically just cut an ad there?
I think that was Chef Boyardee had the slogan Beefy for a while.
Oh, they did, the
Was it-
beefy ravioli.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, with Mankind and
Yeah. They
Kane.
did. Look at that. You even tied it into wrestling there. Look at
Sure
you.
did.
He's like, it's the
Attitude
perfect
Era.
ravioli for all mankind.
Oh yeah.
He's eating it with the sock and stuff.
The good old days.
So we're back. We don't anticipate this episode will be as long today because we're coming out of Mania. Not decent amount of stuff happened, but not as much. So we're entering the slow season, so to speak. So obviously, big news of this week. We had the Superstar Shakeup, and boy, did they really shake things up.
Yeah, it wasn't a draft, huh? It wasn't a draft. They made sure that they drove it home saying, yes, this was the shakeup.
I don't think there is a draft
just
this
shaking
year.
things up a little bit.
I read online. I don't think there is a draft.
No, they kind of reconfigured it a little bit.
Which is cool because
to kind of shake it up from the norm.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like we're that far removed from the last draft, so I think it's kind of cool that they're not doing the draft.
And what was it? Maybe how many months?
June or July.
June. Okay.
Yeah,
It's a good halfway
I was
point
at
or
the
so,
show.
right? I mean, a little bit more than halfway.
Yeah. Oh, you were at the draft show?
Yeah. I was at the Raw.
I went to the
and
Raw. I didn't go to the draft show. What was I doing?
Oh yeah,
at that?
which it's
You
crazy.
did not miss anything.
I was at
the
Guns N'
worst
Roses.
SmackDown I've ever
But it's
been
crazy
to.
because that was local.
It's
Right?
Worcester.
That was
Raw
local.
was Providence, and then
then
the draft was
and then
SmackDown.
go figure the
Boston.
shakeup was also local.
Yep.
So
They like to shake things up in the Northeast.
hey,
Yeah.
that's Hunterville, that's McMahonville.
Yeah,
So all right. So jumping into this, we had a few pieces. I did want to say with the shakeup before we even get into who moved. I think it's cool that they did this instead of the draft because like I said, I feel like the shows are just kind of getting steam and stuff. So to do a draft and reset everything, I think would have been a little bit much. The thing with the shakeup though was I was expecting them to mimic like sports trade deadlines where you're gonna have like clips of Angle and Daniel Bryan talking backstage, cutting deals.
That's one way to
And
do it.
we didn't get any of that. It was literally just people showing up without context.
It was kind of weird.
The only context that was provided was with the women's
The surprise
on
was cool.
SmackDown.
Yeah, right.
So it was a little odd to me. But anyway, we can get into it. So the Miz and Maurice were the first two. Well, I think Apollo Crews was announced, but nobody gives a shit anymore.
Nobody cared about him. He was
Hey,
on WWE.com.
maybe he will be cared about now. We'll see.
On Raw?
We'll see. Yeah, right.
So Miz and Maurice get moved over to Raw. They open up. They do a John Cena segment, which I thought was kind of funny, but like a little ridiculous too. So anyway, how do you guys feel about the Miz and Maurice on Raw? Because I think this was a big get for Raw, assuming they can position him correctly.
I mean, we all know that Miz has been putting in some of his best work as of late, past year or two, 3.
Yeah.
Solid work. He could put anybody over. and he can draw ratings for sure. He always gets your attention whether you like him or not. So to put him on the product that needs the most attention at the moment, yeah, like you said, it's a big get for Raw. But with what SmackDown obtained as well and all that they have going for them, it's not like they really lost too much. It's kind of sad because, especially the Talking Smack segments with Daniel Bryan and Miz, yeah, that was a big claim to fame for both the Miz and SmackDown and Talking Smack. I think all that really worked together really well and drew people in. But I don't think it's too much of a loss for SmackDown with him departing at this point.
No, I agree, and actually that was one of my points that I was thinking about is I hope that he doesn't lose any interest because he lost the platform that was Talking Smack. I think that was definitely what kind of shot him off on his trajectory that he had this past year, doing some of those promos that were a little bit more not so scripted, and it brought out a lot of his character that you wanted to see. You wanted to see his egotistical, super confidence.
A newer, more confident, more driven dimension came from.
Yeah, and I hope that he doesn't lose that because he's on Raw now, because Raw doesn't really have that platform for him. But I think he'll be good. I like that Maurice went with him.
To my knowledge, she'll be doing some more in-ring work, right?
I think so.
That's kind of a beginning stage of that.
I think so.
Now, how they appeared on the Shakeup, right? Was it? No. Their last SmackDown, right? Their last SmackDown that they were on, they did another John Cena and Nikki segment, which I think was funny again, entertaining again. Miz does such a fantastic job with the sticking out of the ass and making sure that the shirt is kind of on top of the ass, and then a borderline hunchback and arms all puffed out. He does the perfect John Cena stance and walk and everything, and carries himself just like him. And
Maurice does the oh my god,
what?
And right when that segment was coming to a close, we got an awesome moment that it was obviously in talks that this individual would show up to the SmackDown brand, and sure enough, he did.
Oh.
And,
I was talking about last week.
He's trying to tease it.
I know.
Yeah,
I was like,
tease
what
it.
is he doing right now?
And sure enough,
Brent's really remiss he wasn't here for that.
yeah, I'm wicked sad about that. But I got to see that live as all hell. So, the lights kind of change over, and you get a little bit of a darkened room, and you can tell there's more of a spotlight kind of coming on, and they cut over, and sure enough, it's
Nakamura.
no, it's not Nakamura, you scumbag.
It's the violinist
It's
who
the
nobody
violinist.
knows his name.
No, there are some people that do.
And nobody in this
Like
room.
his family and stuff, his
Yeah.
friends.
Yeah. Well, he did a fantastic job too. Once again, but what do you guys think of? I'm completely hijacking this to talk about Nakamura's entrance real quick, and then we'll go right back to the shakeup. But I mean, what do you guys think of the way that he showed up?
It was cool. I mean, so anybody who listened to last week's episode, all four of you,
Yeah, about.
Brent didn't even listen to last week's episode.
No.
So we were sitting in this room. Ryan was talking about something. I can't remember what he was talking about.
You were talking about new arrivals, and you started talking about the revival.
Oh, okay.
And then you were saying,
All right.
there might be another person, and as you said
and then Mike, the TV's where we're sitting, the TV's positioned behind me, and Mike goes, "Oh, speaking of which, Shinsuke Nakamura's debuted." So we paused.
Dillinger, too.
We paused the recording to watch it.
Behind the scenes info,
which was cool.
Weird how
thing
he
with
showed up, right? And then just
he showed up. I thought, truthfully, this week, and we're gonna get into this later, but I thought this week was more effective because there was an end game in place. Last week was just kind of like, oh, okay, so if you didn't watch NXT, here's this guy's full entrance.
Right.
It didn't have a lot of context because obviously there were no plans for him to feud with The Miz because The Miz was going to Raw.
That's what I thought, though. I thought that was like, oh, perfect. This will Miz will come out next Tuesday, and he'll address the fact that he doesn't appreciate being interrupted and being outshined
It
by
was
somebody.
left.
Who
It
does
was
he
left
think
a
he
little
is? And
ambiguous.
perfect.
Because as they started doing the entrance, he left the ring.
Yeah, he left as Nakamura was coming down.
Yeah, so it wasn't. There was no stare down. There was really no interaction between them.
Yeah.
Other than the fact that he came out during the Miz's segment. So it was odd. It was a cool moment, but in hindsight, as far as debuts go, I just wish there had been slightly more context to it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right. No.
I agree 100%. I think it was a good debut for people who know him to see wow, he's on the show, he's going to be here.
Right.
For people who don't know him, it was just like, wow, who's this?
Which is pretty cool though, because it's intriguing to those who are kind of like casuals.
Absolutely. I mean, while we're on the subject of him anyway, why don't we just talk about what happened with him on SmackDown this week with the Dolph Ziggler thing? I thought that was a lot.
Yeah, I thought that was the debut that he should have had, realistically, because, like I said, it had a context. It set him up, and he talked for briefly, and they need to keep his talking down, obviously, because of
it was effective,
the language. But I think he said something effective. You don't know who I am? I am Shinsuke Nakamura. And he did this weird bow thing.
Yep.
And that was cool. And he caught the kick from Ziggler, which is like that's one of Ziggler's. No, it's not a finisher, but it's like a signature.
Signature for sure.
Yeah. So that's a big move for him to counter. So I thought it was kind of cool. Yeah,
I love Nakamura. He's super charismatic.
So, I agree that maybe there should have been a more eventful debut, something having to do with more context to it. But I think it was incredibly appropriate to have him debut with the whole like, let's go out, spotlight on a violinist, and play the little intro. Like, I thought that's awesome. But that was what gave me chills. I could not get rid of my chills
during the Ziggler promo.
What's that?
They could have done that during the Ziggler promo.
Right. Start off that way.
Yeah.
Into Ziggler's, ring at the time.
So I almost wonder if they were better waiting a week with him.
Yeah.
And having him debut. Not that it's not going to affect him either way. Just contextually, I think it would have made a little more sense.
The one thing I think about that is so we've seen him for 2 weeks now, and I hope that they I know this is going to sound bad, but I hope that they kind of keep his wrestling down to a minimum, only because he's really good in ring, but I feel like if you saw too much of him, then it might get stale, because he's not as flashy as like an AJ Styles or Seth Rollins or Kevin Owens or something like that.
Flashy? I think he's...
No, his
in-ring is just mostly strikes and stuff.
His in-ring is
Yeah, I guess I have a different definition in mind of flashy.
I feel like he's like, I don't know, I put him on the same standard as like a Lesnar. I'd rather see Lesnar less.
He's a special attraction.
He's a special attraction, like.
Sure.
Because in NXT, you didn't see him wrestle too much. When he was in New Japan, he didn't wrestle all the time. He's one of those guys that...
And I don't want to see... SmackDown does a good job of avoiding this, but SmackDown... Raw has that huge issue where they have guys where they're like, oh, you have a match at the pay-per-view and you have a match at the pay-per-view. You're going to have a tag match tonight.
Yeah.
And the issue with that is it just... Back in the day, when they were doing the Ultimate... I don't remember vividly, but I don't remember Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior touching each other.
No.
Before they did the WrestleMania 6 match.
Right.
It never happened. And now these guys they're always in each other's faces. That's another thing I have an issue with too. Because Rock and Austin, if you go back and you watch any of the Attitude Era stuff, there's one guy in the ring, there's one guy in the ramp, or the other guy's backstage. He's on the ramp or backstage. And they sold entire pay-per-view cards on that
Dynamic,
setup.
Yeah.
Now you get these guys, they get right in the ring with each other, and they're looking at each other, and it's like, what are you doing? I guess the point is, like, they give away too much on TV.
You gotta make them want it.
That you gotta build up too soon. And I don't want to see Nakamura get caught up in that.
Sure.
Because his entrance is fascinating enough that I don't think he needs to work all the time. I think he can show up.
Absolutely. But to your point about maybe more so now than maybe 3 or 4 years ago, with the introduction of the network and everything, pay-per-views aren't as special as they used to be, and they don't really need to sell too many buy rates for them. as opposed to like when they have the big fours, like the Royal Rumble,
Right,
and stuff. That's when they're doing most of their influx of viewers and everything. So a couple of years ago, I would have agreed 100%, but like now the pay-per-views, they just feel like special editions of Raw or whatever, because they give away the match the week before or like they always do a rematch the night after.
Yeah,
I don't like that.
I would like if they started putting stock in the pay-per-views a little bit more, because it's only going to benefit them with network subscriptions, really. But like if you keep things that were there, this is special, this is occurring only here, you're not going to get this anywhere else.
Right. That's
a big deal. And here's the deal: SmackDown doesn't have this issue as much as Raw does. The Raw roster is so big, they could have each guy like Jinder Mahal is now on TV and stuff like that. But how many times has that guy been off TV? You know, how often is R-Truth and Goldust on TV? So you don't need to put these people against each other just because they're like in the main event scene or the mid-card scene. Like, take these other guys and move them up too, because what's the point of keeping them on the roster? You know, just for main event every week?
I guess it's my guess would be that it's all money. It's all money. I mean, who's selling the most products and drawing the most, and it's got to be those same big names that people pay to see.
But hold on. Don't you think you could introduce these, like the Golden Truth or the Shining Star or something like that, and if you put them out a little bit more, you'll have a couple hundred people that want to buy their stuff, as opposed to not showing them at all.
Right.
And then the same amount of people are going to buy the top guys stuff.
But those are like live event people. Like those are like, say for instance, when they open the show before they actually go to air,
like a dark match.
They'll exactly. They'll open the show, get people, you know, ready to actually see the show, and you'll get those people there that are at the events that might buy a Golden Truth shirt or something like that. And,
Golden Truth?
Yeah. But it's not the person who's watching them on TV running to www.shop.com and making sure that they get their shirt.
That was a good plug.
You know what I'm saying? I wish.
But I don't want to see Shinsuke get caught up in something where he's getting overexposed. Sure. And that's really, I think, the message here. And everybody I talked to, I was actually talking to Ryan today.
Yeah.
And same thing. Like he said it multiple times that like you got to keep his talking low and you can't overexpose him. And I think that's going to be key to his character. You know, because the entrance is fascinating enough. And I'm going to totally eat my words right now. I don't think I've said it on this podcast, but like I've said in conversations before, I was really worried when he went up to the main roster that he wasn't going to translate well.
Right.
Because he just seems to be like more of an indie darling, like, you know, or an IWC darling. And the reaction he's gotten like the last two SmackDowns have been absolutely enormous. And I think he's going to move a shitload of freaking
What a
merch for
huge
them.
pop!
I think that there's more fans than you would think now that are fans of the indie stuff that still go to WWE stuff. Like, that's why AJ Styles got over so good. Samoa Joe's getting over well. Like, Kevin Owens is huge. Sami Zayn's big. Like, Cesaro. All these guys that people want. Like, people love Cesaro, and he doesn't ever really get a push. But everyone, I think, in this room loves him, right?
I guess what it would have to come down to is that they need to make sure that they book him as appropriately as possible and utilize him in the best way as possible. Because it's not like he won't get over with the crowd because his entrance is fantastic. He's a very intriguing person. His body language, his in-ring style, all that's great. He's he's quite the attraction for sure. The only way I think that people will get bored with him is if they don't book him properly, or if they overuse him in one way or another, or fall short of something to really give him a proper push or something. They need to book him as good as possible in order to make sure that it does Shinsuke justice, because he deserves a big appropriate push.
And I think if they let him just do his thing, he'll be fine.
Yeah, I think it'll be all right. SmackDown doesn't have many misses,
right?
Yeah.
You know, with the exception of like the tag division. But let's get back to center here.
Because really quickly before we go back to our shakeup, what do you think about him feuding with Ziggler? That's going to be. It seems like that's going to be the first.
I think it'll be good for both of them.
Yeah. Right, and that's exactly what I was going to say. Is that not only is it good for Shinsuke, it's also good for Ziggler. It kind of puts Ziggler back into a good conversation again, rather than being stale and being put with this random guy or this is a dumb thing or what is Ziggler? Is he, and
it lets
he needs to find himself.
He lets him be the confident heel against Nakamura.
Yes, and they're going to put on great matches, and you're going to like them both for performing really well at their craft instead of being bored with who they are, who they're feuding with. Now you got a good one-on-one that you're going to be interested in seeing.
So it should be interesting.
So there's one part of the shakeup.
So
I hijacked.
Well, no, that wasn't even part of the shakeup.
Nakamura wasn't part of the shakeup.
It wasn't part of the shakeup. You just got behind the driver's wheel.
In my opinion, I think no, it's not technically part of the shakeup, but with
Are you backtracking
all of the call-ups, I feel like those are almost included in the shakeup.
Okay.
I mean, they're week after week.
Not technically.
That's what I'm saying. I literally said not technically, but
So getting back to the shakeup, so Miz and Maurice were big. On the flip side of that coin, because you have Miz and Maurice, who obviously are a tandem, and then you also have Rusev and Lana, which I thought was really interesting because last night they said Rusev's coming to SmackDown, and on the card, the first thing I said was like, "That's weird. Like Lana's not on his card." And then the next thing, they have a Lana vignette where she's doing some fucking weird flash dance chair thing on the entrance.
I think they're gonna probably keep them together, but I think they're gonna have Lana drop the accent and maybe do some in-ring stuff.
I don't know.
She's been training for over a year for it.
I can't see them having her drop
really,
the accent.
nimble.
I mean, well, maybe they had Kofi drop the accent.
It's happened a couple times before.
But I just think I
she
thought
used
that
to
was
do
strange.
ballet, which is going to be really helpful in ring. If she can take bumps, and she learns,
wrestled about 2 years ago against Summer Rae in a match.
Yeah,
she
Mania, right?
She had Mania.
Yeah,
she was in the Mania match too last year. But I feel almost like they might be a little bit more separate than we're used to seeing. I mean, that's the way it looked anyway, even though they're going to be on the same show, which I think will be good for both of them because I think the Lana and the manager role thing is kind of run its course.
I want to see. A lot of people will disagree with me, but I think a lot of people at the same time will agree with me. I want to see comical, handsome Rusev.
Yeah.
You could go the other way. You could go right back to intimidating and even further push him into like that Bulgarian brute who's like a force to be reckoned with, right? You can go that route. Anti stupid Americans, all that stuff, or you can kind of take this advantage, take advantage of the opportunity of
repackage him.
Exactly with his timeout that he's had now. It's a perfect time to kind of reset, and just kind of revamp, and he can come back, kind of a new Rusev.
Yeah.
Don't stray so far that it's like a brand new character is coming. You're like, well, what? That's weird.
I think he could be a little bit of both.
Sure, yeah.
But yeah, no,
I want to see his comedic chops shine more.
Yeah.
Because he has so much potential for that.
But I don't want him to become a Santino Marella.
No, you don't want to be the butt of a joke and stuff like that, right? No.
That was like Owens with. It got to a point where, as enjoyable as the Jericho thing was, they had to reverse it at some point because you don't want Owens just being a comedy.
Yeah, and I don't want Rusev just to be comedy. Let him do some comedy stuff, but I don't want him to be, because every foreigner seems to fall. Great Khali was a big powerhouse who went to comedy.
Yeah.
Santino Marella was a foreigner, went to comedy. Vladimir Kozlov was a foreigner, went to comedy. They all go to comedy eventually. I don't want Rusev just to fall to that.
It's a great point. The only thing I will say though is that
he has more charisma. And
all he did was he had a little bit of mic time here and there sprinkled in, and it's almost like he was unintentionally, his delivery and choice of words was just, it couldn't help but giggle at it, and it wasn't like let's giggle at the foreign guy, because we don't understand him or anything.
No, it was legit funny.
It was legitimate, there was a definitely comedic side from him, and I hope that they utilize that, because I feel like it's almost like Kane, right? All those years of being silent, like yes, Kane, I mean, he was extremely over as he was. But, I mean, you see corporate Kane and him talking and having a personality, or even when he was doing the Team Hell No, his comedic chops there, and him having a ton of mic time, it was like, wow, this guy can really talk. He's funny. Like, it's a shame that we never gave him that opportunity all these years, you know? I just hope that Rusev doesn't fall into that kind of same category.
Absolutely. The one thing that made me excited about the Rusev jump was they just put him on a video package, like saying, "Hey, he's going to be here." When they gave other people like more. Yeah. No, I know he's still
injured,
out,
yeah.
But like they could have built it up a little bit. They're like, "Oh, it was kind of a side note right before commercial break."
Yeah,
it's like, "Oh, hey, also coming to SmackDown."
The entire thing, I just felt it just looked really uneven. Yeah. It was oddly executed.
Thrown together.
Yeah, it seemed a lot of it seemed really last minute because they're moving guys over who are still in feuds like Bray Wyatt.
Yeah,
and then he's starting a feud with Finn Balor, who we'll get to in a little bit. But they're moving, but he's still in the feud with Randy Orton. The whole thing just felt very strange. And then the thing that dumbfounded me, I want to get to the first piece of this before we get to the second, but Kevin Owens comes over. And they move Sami Zayn over too. Now, I you will get no argument from me that Sami Zayn has belonged on SmackDown since day one. Right. That is the show for Sami Zayn.
Right.
And they've alluded to it in the storyline multiple times. But that is becoming the crutch feud for them. That should be their HBK.
Yeah.
Bret Hart.
But how funny was the way that he acknowledged Zayn? Like when Zayn's music hit. And KO's like, "You gotta be kidding me," or something like that.
It was handled well. He does a good job handling, but like, it's just I don't know.
It made me mad.
You don't want it to be watered down.
It made me mad that they could have absolutely put both those guys on the show. The fact that they tied it together again. The fact that it wasn't like Sami Zayn coming over and be like, "Hey, it's my time." Like,
no, you have to do that.
You don't have to.
Yes, if they're going to be on the same show.
Do you remember Battleground was the last time they were ever going to fight?
Of course, they kept on calling, "Oh, this is the last time you'll ever see these two."
And now I know that it won't be the last time, but when you throw them together on a random Raw 3 weeks in a row,
but they never healed like their hatred for each other. You know, their on-screen hatred.
The best thing I think they could do with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn is maybe 6 months down the road, put them together in an unlikely alliance, like team. Like somehow make them have to team up.
And stab his back again.
No, just have them be a tag team.
Like Cesaro, Sheamus, or something like that.
Those guys were a great tag team for like
who knows,
6 years.
And this could be the predecessor to that. Who knows? That could happen.
Yeah, but it's annoying.
It looks like it's going to become a crutch feud or a crutch go-to match for them again.
Well, do you foresee Owens dropping the U.S. belt? Well, anytime soon.
That's the other half to this. I don't think Owens is leaving SmackDown. But, like, why even work that piece into the story where, he's here now, but if he loses the U.S. belt, Chris Jericho will be here. It didn't make sense.
I think the only reason they do that is that way Jericho, you'll know that he's going to stay in Raw. And Jericho's going away. I think his first tour date is May 5th.
Yeah, he's coming back,
so
after
1 week. Yeah, but he's going away for 3-4 months?
No, he doesn't have that many dates announced.
Oh, really?
And I was listening to the podcast. He's got dates scattered throughout the summer.
Okay.
And then essentially, he basically said, if I understood everything he was saying correctly, once he's done with the Fozzy stuff, he's gonna come back. I think they're working on a new album, so once that comes out, he's probably gonna go away for a little bit. But I think these are just sporadic summer festival dates that he's going to be doing.
What a friggin' hard worker.
So,
like wrestler, podcast, front man of them, all trying to tie that in at once, and then you add other factors in there as well. That's a busy dude.
I agree.
But
can we talk about some other guys that jumped over from?
Yeah, certainly.
Wait. Do you guys don't want to go right back to KO? And being the face of America now? He's the new face of America.
He was practically as close to clean shave as you're going to get.
Yeah.
Which was really weird.
You did not expect a blue
Rocking
tie.
The nice suit.
The suit with a blue tie.
I like that he's carrying the suit thing over. I think that's cool because it gives this message he's going to be Triple H's guy no matter where he is. And I hope they continue that for a long time because I think that's really cool. And I'm sure Tobin loves it too. But the clean shaven thing caught me completely off. Well, almost clean shaven, but it caught me completely off guard. I'm hoping that he's not. I'm hoping he just kind of reset the beard.
Yeah, I did like him on Talking Smack. I don't know if you guys caught that.
I didn't get to see it,
but he did. Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon were on Talking Smack with him, and they're like, "Oh, we're glad to have you on the show." And he's like, "Are you guys really? Like, you didn't draft me the first time." And it's like, and then you draft me over here, and then you bring Sami Zayn. Like, I don't get it. Like, why are you... Like, you're clearly not happy to have me here. It's like, you just think I'm going to bring more eyes to your product. Like, he was really good. And then they were trying, like, Shane and Daniel were trying to, like, counterpoint him, and he was just putting up a good fight.
Shows the professional.
He's great off the cuff.
Absolutely.
So the New Day's going over to SmackDown.
Yep.
I think that's much needed.
Yeah.
I really think that's going to help their tag team division because they didn't have a veteran anchor. The most veteran team is the Usos, which they hit the reset button on them a few months ago, which was great.
Yeah.
But they needed somebody like the New Day that's going to be there that has proven success because the Usos staled out after a while. The New Day are still hot as ever.
Yeah.
So
it's insanely profitable right now, right? In many avenues of the business. Do you foresee any kind of, for lack of better terms, shakeup when Kofi comes back from his surgery?
Like, to break him up?
Yeah, any kind of like change in dynamic or anything of that sort?
Now that they moved them over, I don't think they're going to break up for a while because
I think you can get another year out of
them. Their directive, I think, is probably to help that tag team division. I mean, it seems very obvious.
Sure.
And I can't see them doing anything. The thing with the New Day is they're really great at switching gears on a dime if they need to. All three of them are really, really good. They've kind of been coasting the same aura for a little bit now, but I wouldn't be surprised if they tweak it a little bit because they're going to be on SmackDown now. And but they're always introducing new elements to what they're doing, and so as long as they're doing that, they're not going to get stale. Where on the flip side of that, you have like an Enzo and Cass, who have really, we've talked about it multiple times now, but like they've really proven to be kind of a one-trick pony thus far.
Sure.
And that's why people are getting a little on them. But I'm sure Enzo and Cass move a shitload of merch and stuff too between the kids. I mean, if you go on the shop website, you can tell who the biggest merch movers are because they have the most items, you know. And Enzo and Cass definitely have a shitload of items that they're moving. So
yeah, and we got to keep in mind that they are they're still very young.
Yeah.
And they're gonna have to go through those growing pains as far as big leagues go, because obviously they've been in the business for a while, right? And they've come a long way. So it's not like their brand spanking new, but to the main product, it's still kind of new to them. They're only a year old.
Yeah.
And what they've had going right now has worked until maybe about this point to some of the I guess long-term fans.
Yeah.
But look how quick. So the New Day faced the same thing. The New Day was dead on arrival. Was dead.
Yeah, it was bad.
They came in, especially because so the New Day, they had that interaction like months before they re-debuted. Essentially, they were taken off TV. And it almost looked like they were going to do like a Nation of Domination thing.
Yeah.
That's what it was. It almost looked like a new Nation of Domination. And then they came out with a New Day, which and it was months later. It was like 2-3 months later, right? What you would say?
I would say about 2 months later.
Yeah. So they come out with the New Day, which I think that almost like Nation of Domination like tease, I think having that and the juxtaposition of what the New Day was when they do, I think that pissed people off. And
they came off very much like a
church choir group or something like that.
That was their first vignette thing, right? I mean,
the first couple vignettes, and then when they came out a couple, like 2 or 3 weeks like that. Maybe 2 weeks, I think.
But, and then they came back. Well, not came back, but they came out with that gimmick, and they realized they were supposed to be faces. It wasn't working, and they instantly flipped it. And Enzo and Cass, I feel like, yes, it's early. There's still time for them to kind of correct their... But I feel like they're not doing anything to... They say the same shit every week.
And
every week.
I gotta say, I would not doubt one bit if that is like borderline direct orders from Vince, to where he may think it's not broke right now. Keep doing what you're doing until I say so.
I don't know, because
I wouldn't
when they do that piece, so I'm sure that like the intro piece, when they come out, that intro piece is, they have to, like, he has to do that. But when they get into the ring and he's doing all his cultural and sports team references, those all seem freeform. Like, I mean, I don't think he comes up with them on the spot, but they seem like something that he's writing for himself.
Sure.
And Cass.
Yep.
I don't know why he can't tweak that a little bit. Now, to be fair, this came up, I think this came up last week with NXT. They're not on TV as much.
Yeah.
So in NXT, they were a very fresh thing because you might see them once every 4 weeks if you were lucky. And that way, when he comes out with his shtick, it's like, oh shit, this is all brand new. So they're on TV every week, so I understand how that could be tough. But like, I just kind of want to see them start to retool things, because I don't think they're a bad tag team. I don't want to see them go away. I mean, Enzo sucks in the ring, but they're entertaining enough.
Here's a random off the cuff idea. I think that they should join another group of people for a bigger faction. Almost, I mean, for lack of, I don't mean to really compare them that much to him, but think of them as like a Road Dogg and Billy Gunn, and they had their thing going for a while, which was cool. But then when they did the DX thing with a few other individuals, it was like a match made in heaven of all those great, cool, quirky or personalities that kept you glued to the television. If they found another couple people or so to work off of, and it would pull different dynamics out of both of those guys, that may be a good almost stepping stone into reinventing themselves.
I'd rather see them split up and Enzo be a manager for someone.
Right. I mean, that's everyone's thought right now, because obviously his wrestling ability up to this date in the big leagues hasn't really been much to impress.
Not in NXT either.
And you could just start listing off the botches and
yeah,
it's not pretty.
I agree.
Most of the time, what he's doing in the ring is not pretty.
Yeah.
And you think Cass, obviously himself, he could stand alone, and just the personality on Enzo, he just screams manager. He screams that like
heel
quirky
manager.
little entertaining manager who could be on the sidelines, just the most
Jimmy Hart.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah, to a T.
He really is, like, he has all that charisma, all that energy. Just put him with someone.
Yeah.
Or flip the script and drop them as a tag team and just make Cass a heel and Enzo his heel manager. Like, it'd be fine.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but we've talked about them a ton of times.
Yeah,
before.
I don't want to beat a dead horse.
But on the New Day thing, Kofi got injured.
Yeah, so we had 2 injuries.
Yeah.
So the first one was Kofi. Kofi, did he break his ankle?
He needed surgery, and they put
surgery.
it into story.
Right.
They said that the Revival had taken him out. He needed surgery before this.
Oh, I thought it was sustained during the match. It wasn't.
No,
that's
it's not.
good. That's good for the Revival too. It's a good job of being like, how can we and both at the same time builds up the Revival, builds up their heel persona, and at the same time
gets Kofi out.
Perfectly writes off Kofi.
Yeah, and they just like it was a surgery that he needed before that, and then they just wrote that into story to like have Revival attack him after the match.
Yeah, so it's. I mean, he's expected to be back in like 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah, not too long.
Yeah, so he should be back soon.
And then you got
we have so I to preface this, I was watching the Finn Balor match and watching his style, because I don't watch, admittedly I don't watch as much NXT as I probably should, just because I kind of need a break at some point in the week. But I was like, shit, this is very Daniel Bryan-esque, because he's landing on his he lands on the upper part of his back into his back, especially with the what's the coup de grace finishing move.
Yeah, he lands on the back.
He doesn't land great with that, and I was like, shit, I hope he doesn't suffer the same fate as Daniel Bryan ultimately. Now,
sure enough,
this was definitely not his fault.
No. It was an accident. It was one of those things where guys were just a little too close when something happened.
But Mahal hit him with like a straight forearm.
Jinder's reach. He's a very tall dude. right?
And Finn was just
and
stepping
he's
in
got
a little bit too
arms
much.
for days. His elbow goes out 10 feet. Like he's already leaning forward, and they're relatively close to the to the ropes that Finn was coming off of.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, Finn has at that point he has no time really to slow down and just play off the bump.
He has two
Instead,
options pretty much, like
landed.
go back into the ropes or like lean into Mahal.
And it just landed. And upon further review, I had, he was doing the whole pause things. I'm not cool enough to have slow-mo these days. It's only 2017. So I'm trying to watch it frame by frame for the most part. And it seemed, I don't know if this played a factor or not, but when Jinder goes in for that elbow or forearm, whatever you want to call it, he closes his eyes simultaneously. And maybe that's just me digging too far into it or not. But, I mean, when you take your eyes off of the ball, you're going to miss.
Yeah.
And
I didn't even see
maybe
that
could kind of alter his depth perception for that 1 millisecond. Because that's all it takes is we're talking like an inch or two here or there. Just that can either be a perfectly played off bump or a really catastrophic injury,
Yep.
And that's all it took. And he landed.
It was real snug.
Yeah, dude. You see.
I didn't notice it during the match.
Me neither. I noticed how hard the hit was. I didn't notice that he was knocked out. He was not. He fell right on his face. He wasn't breaking his fall or anything. Like landed on his face, stayed down for a second. When he got up, he's that typical boxer or MMA guy who gets his cage rattled and he get the shaky leg syndrome and trying to catch his footing kind of thing. Knees weak, like that. That's how he gets up and is like, whoa.
No, because all right, so
Ginger did.
Yeah, Ginger did.
You could see it. He acknowledged it. Like
they ended the match shortly after that.
Yeah.
Mitch caught it though. We've had him on the show a couple times, Mitch, and he texted me. He was like, "Did Finn get like knocked out? Was that real? Like that looked like legit." And then he was like, his eyes are glazed over.
Yeah.
And then the ref didn't catch. I was reading about it. The ref didn't catch on. Mahal caught on. Told the ref. He said something's not right here. Normally they would have had the ref go talk to him, but Finn Balor kind of played it off and they just ended the match. Normally they would have not let him end the match.
Yeah,
I thought that was a really quick match, and I was like, well, that was kind of anticlimactic.
Yeah.
So, but essentially, I mean, these accidents. I mean, Seth Rollins banging Cena's nose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was probably the worst one I've seen recently.
Hurting Finn Balor, hurting Sting, like.
Yeah. So
Dude,
these things happen.
And you know what? Kudos. I mean, maybe that's not the proper way to go about the scenarios, but kudos to just the heart that Finn puts into that.
Yeah.
When he puts his own arm back into place, his shoulder rather, and continues the match. Show must go on. This dude gets knocked out, shakes it off a little bit. Show must go on.
Weird thing about this though, that was his first singles match since he got injured.
Yes, I know.
With
how freaking ironic.
I'm concerned that it's almost like he got the Madden cover or something.
Yeah, I know, right? Oh,
like
dude.
it's just
I
don't know.
Scenario.
We'll see how it all plays out, but that wasn't. How long does it usually take concussions for them to come back? About a month. It's not quick.
Usually, they don't really have a set rule for it. It seems, but they've been trying to get a little stricter on it. I think it's going to be about 4
Do you find it weird that he was up against Jinder as well?
How so?
Well, he was booked to face Jinder at the house shows too.
I thought that they would bring back Finn and immediately put him back into like a main card kind of scenario, and Jinder is far from main card if you ask me. Now, I'm not saying he doesn't ever deserve to be there or like he's good at what he does, but and he's obviously in great shape and he's trying to really work on himself and it's showing. Good for him, but he's not. Jinder hasn't gone for the belt anytime recently, right? And they bring back Finn. His first match back is against Jinder, and then if you want to make Finn look like a strong, intimidating force to be reckoned with, right? That's how they want to bill him for the most part. They put him against a guy that's like 6 foot, probably like 6, maybe 6'5", 6 foot.
Looks like an action figure.
Probably about that. And the thing is, I mean, Balor is he's billed at 5'11". I don't know what his actual height is, but he's probably right about that anyways. But I mean, I don't know. I just saw it to be, like, why is this? It's a random matchup. This whole, like, you want to make...
I feel like the title picture has enough going on right now with it that they don't need Balor in it right now. And then
you can't have Balor and Brock go at it because Balor's going to have to lose.
No, but, I mean, when you have this guy sidelined for so long, you have so much time to think, okay, how do we bring him back? What's his first match back? What's his first feud back? All this stuff, right? I just don't see it being Jinder. It's weird to me. I just feel like it's a really throw together kind of
it's also
house show
coming
kind
at
of
a
thing.
weird time of the year, though, where they're coming right off of WrestleMania, so they're trying
No
to
offense
do
to
some
Jinder, but...
No, yeah. But Jinder Mahal's been getting kind of a push lately.
Yeah,
was
he
more
has.
last
Same thing with
Battle
Mojo.
Royal. Yeah. And,
I like it.
yeah, I don't mind
Because
it.
I like guys that normally wouldn't. Number one, it's a fresh matchup. It's one you haven't seen
I dig that it's
before.
fresh for sure, yeah.
And it gives him a shot because
Just like stature and so on. It just
everybody's been saying, like, why did they bring Jinder back anyway?
Yeah.
And now it's like,
He's proven himself.
Well, now he actually has a place because
and
he
you
didn't
know
have a
they're
place
going to
for
work
months.
this into the storyline as well.
And-
so if he is sidelined, if Finn is sidelined for a little while, they're obviously going to be almost like the Destroyer thing, right? Where like, oh, he sidelined Finn Balor, and this is a guy.
Yeah.
To
Absolutely.
be scared of.
And it ties into what we were talking about earlier, where you don't want to see the two main event guys go right after each other all the time. Give them a smaller feud right at first. Like,
It gives you a break so you can save those matchups for when they matter.
Yeah.
I do want to address, so like I guess the internet's been freaking out and going, oh, Jinder Mahal is clearly on steroids and that's why he knocked him out. That is the stupid. No, number one, the only person that, I don't know, because I have some questions regarding Cena too, but like Jinder Mahal is not somebody that is going to get bypassed on wellness tests in the WWE. He is not going to. He is not a big or valuable enough talent where they care if he fails a drug test because they'll suspend him. Nobody will think any differently of it, and that'll be it. So anybody who's saying that on the internet is an idiot. Like,
and personally, like, I don't know that much about stars or anything, but if you look at Jinder Mahal, he's like his size, like it fits
He
him.
just and he's just crazy cut.
Yeah.
I mean that is a ton of hard work and time in the gym, doing the right workouts for him.
Yeah.
Right. That's years of studies and trying this. And
Cesaro
trying that,
looked like that at a point.
Finding what works for him, putting a ton of hard work into it, and obviously diet. When you see how shredded he is, that's not like,
Yeah.
oh, that guy's just lifting a lot of weights and like he's juicing. No, that's like
He's eating healthy. He's doing stuff.
yeah, like he there's no cheating. There's no cheat day for Jinder Mahal. And it's funny because even it's spoken about in commentary and within that match too about how much he's been putting in to his workout plan and the diet that he's on and so on and so forth. Like, who was it? You're saying Ginger said no one diets like me or something like that.
Byron Saxton said that, I think.
Could have been.
I don't know. I don't remember hearing it.
I think it was Graves actually.
Okay.
Graves did. But steroids. He's not a big burly monstrous guy. He's just
lean and cut.
Yeah, lean and cut. That's
The WWE,
and that has nothing to do with
no
what you're doing in the ring, really.
Yeah, there's no way you can get away with it in WWE. Yeah. Like just not. I mean, the people they suspended Del Rio when he was like top of his game. They've suspended Paige. They've suspended so many people. It's kind of funny I mentioned them in succession, not purposefully, but they've suspended so many people who had far bigger roles. And there was Roman Reigns.
Roman.
Yeah, so I don't tell me Jinder Mahal is on steroids. Like it's the stupidest thing.
Yeah, but they're also going to say that he's unsafe and he's too stiff.
They say that every time
he is kind of stiff, but there have been and it still is a lot more stiff wrestlers out there.
So on Raw, we also had
and that's his style, kind of too. He needs to be. Sorry, you got me on that too now because it bugs me when people talk like that.
Yeah, no, I agree.
It really does because they think they have all the answers as far get rid of Jinder, fire him, fire Jinder. He's so unsafe. He's just stiff.
They say that about Seth Rollins when Seth Rollins injured people. Like, people just want to complain.
Bret Hart is losing his mind. Damn it, Seth! Why do you have to train Jinder?
So also on Raw, we had a monster segment with Strowman. So
Is
I
that
didn't get to watch Raw live. I got a text. I had the group text going, which I put the group text when I can't watch it live. I put it on Do Not Disturb.
You were on assignment, right?
I was on assignment.
What assignment was that?
Assignment? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Hey, so yeah, my text message, in the group text message was, I think it was solely an ambulance. And that's all that had to be said.
Like a bicep.
Yeah, like the muscle bicep and an
Yeah,
ambulance, and that's all it needed. It tells the whole story.
My brother texted me. He goes, "You just missed the best segment on Raw in years." and I went home. I watched it, and I mean, it was goofy as hell.
Wicked goofy.
But it brought me back to when they used to do stupid shit backstage, and I loved it because it was just a different setting. And you didn't know where they were going to go next with it and stuff. And they had a vehicle gag in there.
There was a lot of camera trickery and time.
Oh, yeah, a lot of cutting.
That's
the only thing that killed me was the position of Roman's...
the bed?
Yes.
Bed, the gurney after he got tossed off?
The gurney from the view behind Braun when he's pushing him off. The gurney falls. Well, they did a good job of not, showing a dummy, whoever it was.
Yeah.
But... the gurney falls to the left.
And near a pillar.
And yeah. And then when it goes down to Roman,
it's flipped over.
It's like you completely flipped the opposite direction, and it's onto the right side of it. And it was like clearly don't show those one after another again because way too many people.
I hated
5-year-olds.
I did not hate the segment. The segment was fine. Like, I don't mind when they do stuff like that. I hated how WWE is known for its production. And that was some of the poorest production I've ever seen. They had there was a part where Braun Strowman comes running back, and then the camera backs up, and they had a VHS, like, line. They didn't even do a digital, like, cutaway. And I was like, this is...
Yeah.
I was like, that was so... And that's right when they show the bed. And then the whole time that he's tipping the ambulance, you can hear the hydraulic machine going.
You can see the bars on the back end.
And not only that, when there's a point when the ambulance should fall,
and
it doesn't. It just
that was the tipping point, and you're like, it's not gonna fall down.
I was just like, oh my god, just get your shit together. Like, I have no problem with the cheesiness, and that's fine with me. Yeah. And it made Braun Strowman look awesome, and it gives you a little sympathy for Roman.
It works. I mean, it works on like those 9-year-olds.
Yeah.
When we were kids, and we were watching like the Stone Cold. Doing horrible shit to Vince or
throwing a rock off a bridge. That was pretty cool.
That was like
that kind of stuff. Like this, I mean, there's a lot of things that maybe if we reviewed recently, we could just kind of laugh at the production quality of how bad the stunt really came out. But back then, it was completely believable and like you don't really know.
The standout vehicle spot for me was like when I think Sting was with the Wolfpack and he got into a forklift. Remember the limo?
Oh yeah,
and he like dropped the limo.
Yeah,
the crowd. He destroyed the limo. But yeah, dude, I always thought that was cool.
I always liked when they used the when I think it was Austin used a crane to drop the DX bus.
Yeah,
that was pretty cool too.
Obviously, the monster.
So it was cool.
I
love when they do vehicle stuff though because like it's obvious they dump money into it, and that's always cool. It's a nice little bit of fan service. And like I said, I know earlier I was talking about how like. They always do the two guys in the ring, and like we're so used to seeing the stage and the ring and the backstage TV set that you need that change of environment. It makes the show pacing go differently. So I'm always a fan of when they can get that. And
it keeps the viewer both at the arena itself and watching on television. It keeps them so invested because. It's kind of like when you're watching a horror movie and they're about to open the door, and you kind of lean in a little bit further to go, what's gonna pop out? It gives you that effect, and it leads you. You want to like what's next? Where's it going now? What's gonna happen now? As opposed to literally just those same few shots that you get of the ring, and they're not gonna leave the ring really.
Absolutely. One small side thing about that segment was there's people. Idiots are going around trying to get a petition signed to get Braun Strowman fired.
Hilarious.
Because he defaced like ambulance property and stuff, and they're saying that there should have been a driver in that ambulance, and he probably hurt him or killed him.
And the thing is,
and I was just like,
There are people signing that petition.
Oh, that's so
have you
many
ever
people.
seen
Angry mothers everywhere?
Oh my god.
If you go look at like a Nikki Bella photo on Instagram and you hit the comments, it's all these people that's like, you'll be like, yeah, Nikki, totally on your side. You're gonna beat Natty, and it's just like
I love the fans that are like, I don't think that's stupid. I like when fans are like,
It's adorable.
yeah, when
We
they're
need-
like,
we need
oh,
that.
like,
it's
We
like
need
how,
that
how,
to exist.
how could you
memo.
let her talk to you like that and stuff like that? And it's like,
It's still real to them.
and there are some like people that you're like, you should know better. It's like, I don't go arguing about Walking Dead and talking on Rick and be like, listen, Rick, you need to get your shit together.
But so Strowman's segment, I think it was basically a success.
Yeah.
In my opinion, it was something different. It was interesting, and I had a good time watching.
When they have a matchup together, you know they have to bill it as Reigns versus Strowman. Because they can never have it Strowman Reigns. Because it's just too ridiculous.
What?
I love the fact that if you want to use their last names and you put Braun Strowman first, it's always going to be Strowman Reigns. And it's just so yeah.
Oh,
How
I
do you
didn't
not-
get that. Like,
Dude,
all right,
I can't get that out of my head. Anytime I hear Strowman,
like
it's
Roman
Strowman.
Reigns, but Strowman Reigns. I got it. I got you.
There you go.
It took me a minute.
There he is. He's with us.
Took me a minute.
So we had it came out well, not officially but in an unofficial capacity that Mauro Ranallo he's basically done. He's riding out his contract. He removed all references to WWE from his Twitter and everything else. And I kind of bummed about that because I thought he was a breath of fresh air on SmackDown as lead announcer. But there's been a lot of allegations coming out towards JBL because who was it, Justin Roberts?
Yeah.
Yeah, he wrote a book, and basically a lot of people are saying JBL isn't the easiest guy on the face of the planet to work with.
There's
He's
been
kind of
multiple
ridiculous.
put it.
stories of him bullying
For years.
and hazing, for years
Throughout the
and
years.
stuff.
So this is the newest thing, and there's a lot. They started a fired Bradshaw chant in Boston, which
Yeah.
I think is a little ridiculous.
Yeah.
But somebody got escorted out. They had a JBL bullied me sign in Boston.
That was great too.
So
Well, you know what? You're gonna get people. It's. There are people that have different ideologies about life, how they want to be as people, how you win it. Like you can get the Triple H. Like if you want to be successful, screw everybody, step on them, whatever it takes to get where you want to be. It's the only way you're gonna make it. You get that ideology. You get the other side that goes, no man, like everybody should just be like, love each other and let's all be friends and like let bygones be bygones. One hand wash the other. That kind of thing. And everything in between, right? And he just has, JBL has a particular way of, he's that kind of person that is completely cool with that hazing. And that often comes with being one of those like big guy Southerners, maybe even, was he in a football team back in the day? I imagine that back in his heyday.
So, yeah.
Or just like that kind of like, that mentality is the norm for him, and he may mean it all in good fun, but when you're dealing with people that have disorders or illnesses, you can't play that same card, and especially in a professional environment. It's one thing if Ronaldo signs up for the job, knows he has to be punked all the time by JBL on microphone, on TV. That's
on social
cool.
media.
If you sign your contract and it includes that, then suck it up, kid, because that's what you're gonna deal with. However, it's a complete different thing if in behind the scenes, real life, you're still getting punked by that guy, and that guy thinks it's cool, fun, and games, but you have this something going on with you where you can't,
where it affects you.
Can't really deal with that. It's not like he's not being a pussy right here. All right, it's diagnosed.
Yeah,
it's people. It may be hard for some people to understand or I don't know how bad is that disease or how bad is the illness or
I agree 100% on that. I don't
real
like
deal.
people that are going against Mauro. Now, Mauro has a lot of fan support right now, but there are people being like, oh, look at Mauro going to his safe space, like, doing his thing, like, going to his little bubble, staying away where, like... And I hate that, where people are hating on him because, like, the depression he has is, like, a real thing. He's been battling it for years, and it's...
It's the same thing where you get those really, really high and mighty Trump supporters that go, oh, you little snowflakes, crybaby. Why don't you go find a safe space? Where like, it's that ignorant mentality, which is, so be it. You want to live that mentality, dog eat dog, we get it. If that's how you want to be in life, so be it. It might lead you to success. But you can't just immediately shit on everybody that doesn't have your ideology. Same thing with the snowflakes who want to say everything about that other mentality is wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's two polar opposites, but...
And neither of them is right.
Yeah, it's just two ways of living, right? But when it comes down to an illness being affected, then that's when shit needs to hit the fan. Yeah. In my opinion, I like JBL's TV personality. It's super entertaining.
I hate him as a commentator. I think he's terrible. Even before this, I thought he was garbage.
No. Don't get me wrong. He's not on anywhere near my tops as far as commentating goes. But just his overall personality.
I liked his in-ring stuff. And
if you were to just host JBL Legends or whatever,
I love how excited you get for clotheslines.
Yeah.
Whoa! What a clothesline!
Because that's his thing.
But if he's just that, cool beans. But if it's that behind the scenes and it's affecting somebody with an illness so much that they have to just up and leave what they had going for them, it was really great. And to my understanding, that was one of his biggest dreams, was to do something like WWE and be able to announce for WrestleMania and all that stuff. He would have been amazing.
And he missed it.
And that's of his decision.
Yeah.
He could have said, I'm going to suck it up and, let's go with it. But he had it, so it affected him that much. That's not somebody just being like, I'm sick of this bullying, you know what, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
That's not a snowflake crying in their safe space.
Yeah.
That is someone who literally, inside them, they cannot cope with what is happening, and they need out.
Yeah, they just need to
that's terrible
separate
for him to have to
themselves from
endure.
the situation.
And for no kind of slap on the wrist to JBL is bullshit from a company that wants to preach about anti-bullying.
And
be a star kind of thing.
I think the reason that he gets he's getting a lot of this stuff is because he's one of the people that go to those Be a Star things, and he does the speeches for them and everything, and he's not.
Like, the plot thickens.
Dude, I'm all I mean, if he wants to bust balls behind the scenes, cool. Everybody at work, I don't care what job you have, what your position is, when you go to work, if you're not the ball buster, there's somebody at work being the ball buster. And if you're going to cry and bitch and moan about it, stop being a friggin' bitch about it.
Yeah.
Bust balls back, and odds are they're going to love it, and it makes the day go by. It makes you got to laugh. You got to take some ribs here and there, and you give them out at the same time. It's fun in games. It makes life go by. It makes it interesting. And I'm cool with that if JBL wants to do that behind the scenes. But if you have someone who is diagnosed and notably cannot handle it, and you still go for it,
just read the crowd. Like, if you can tell that, like,
yeah,
there's a way you can tell if you're seriously offending someone. Like, there's someone you can tell someone's just being like, "Oh, stop it," or if they're like, seriously hurt by it.
And you get a lot of people that are up in arms that are like, literally, they're like, "Fuck JBL, he's the worst guy ever. Fire his ass. He's a scumbag. Screw that guy, get rid of him," because they heard stories of him like playing pranks back in the day. Yeah. Like, oh, what an asshole. Like, yeah, they all pull pranks, dude. He's just being called out for it right now.
Yeah.
Right? And he may be more like the punk bully douchey guy aside, but so be it. I mean, everyone has that in every occupation, and a lot of times you can just kind of put up with it. And a lot of times it's in good fun.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I'm beating a dead horse at this point. But when it comes down to when it comes down to illness, that's got to be taken serious. Yeah. And WWE, instead of confiscating someone's sign or throwing them out because they won't give up that sign. They should enforce what they friggin' preach.
Yeah.
They have to.
Mm-hmm.
Take a stand. They're telling everyone else to take a stand. Why don't they take a stand against the bully?
Yeah.
And this would be a good opportunity for them. Even if it's a suspension or something like that. Some kind of notable slap on the wrist where people go, well, at least they did something. Yeah. At least something. So it shows that they're being active for what they're preaching about. What do you say, McKeegs? I want your opinion because I know...
I think you've...
but in life, you're more of a heel. I'm more of a face, right? So I'm naturally going to be on Mauro's side. You are notably a big JBL fan, right?
I wouldn't. I mean, I like JBL.
And like I said,
that's funny because I always think
there's no wrong or right. Oh, and I always think we all think of you as a scumbag.
I don't know.
Two ideologies.
The problem is we don't know the full story. That's a big piece of it. Now, I read something today that like a big piece of this was something was said on that second episode of Bring It to the Table, where he ragged on Mauro for winning, I think, like announcer of the year or something. Yeah. I watched that episode. I don't remember.
I think it was on the third one, the one right before WrestleMania.
No, there's only been 2.
There's been 3. They did the one that we watched here.
Yeah.
They did one the Monday or 2 weeks before WrestleMania, and then they did one on a Thursday night right before WrestleMania.
Oh, I missed that one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, so I'll have to watch that unless it's been taken down.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah,
but yeah,
so,
they might have edited that
kind of like discrediting him.
Yeah, so I don't know what was said, but in any case, the I don't have a full picture on this.
Which is good.
Obviously, if somebody's dealing with stuff, you shouldn't rag on them. But
at the same time, to take JBL's side and be shame on Mauro, I would say
he's a heel character at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I was gonna say that this is a heel and face business. This is a bully and hero business. And even when it comes down to the commentary, and if you can't handle that, whether it be on the TV, then you're in the wrong business, and you have to at least expect a little bit of that, at least behind the scenes as well, because this is a tough guy business. So maybe it was, for lack of better terms, career suicide, but let's just say a bad move on Mauro's part to put himself with his condition into that position, or maybe the treatment was so bad that
I don't know what the backstage.
And to my knowledge, I don't think he stopped. I think he still does Showtime boxing, and I still think he's doing the MMA announcing.
I don't know. I don't know what the backstage equation to this was, but like even if you watch Corey Graves, Corey Graves does a much better job of not trashing talent. So like when Enzo and Cass comes out, he's not like, "Oh, look at these idiots."
Yeah.
He basically just makes it seem like he's
stupid, or
he just makes it seem like he's annoyed by them, but he doesn't discredit their talent.
And look at Corey Graves and Byron Saxton. Oh my god!
But that was my next point. Corey Graves rags on Byron Saxton probably 10 times more than JBL ever ragged on Mauro, or actually, they don't really say anything to Otunga, but
he rags on Michael. He used to rag on Michael Cole all the time.
There was one that was like perfect timing and delivery where Graves, like paraphrasing, Graves was like, "Saxton, I swear to God, I hope you get traded to SmackDown," or something like that, which was like perfect. And I thought of that whole incident too, of like the whole.
It was really funny.
With JBL
it was really funny because during Byron Saxton, when he was told that he was switching over to SmackDown, he was like, "Oh man!"
He was told like live on camera. That was the best part.
Yeah, live on camera in a backstage interview. They're like, "Oh, you just been traded to SmackDown." He's like, "Oh, really? Well, I'm gonna miss it here, but SmackDown's the land of opportunity, and I'm gonna even miss Corey."
That dude takes everything in strides, man. What a good guy.
I like him. I know he's not the best
announcer. He was such a dink in a cornball,
but he knows that.
He's playing.
He's on SmackDown yesterday. And I noticed, like, he's leaning uncomfortably close to, like, Phillips. Like, he's just trying to get into the shot. He's, like, way over the armrest. But anyway, so that was the other piece of news on the announce side. I mean, there's not much to be said. Otunga's going to Raw. Yeah. I don't know what Otunga does because he just sits there and he just looks into the camera like real smugly, like, "Hey, girl." Like the entire time. I don't know what he does. He doesn't seem to talk much.
I wonder if they're using him solely so that they can get to Jennifer Hudson if they ever need her to sing for something.
I don't get what he does. He doesn't really do much. He just kind of like sits there. He's always fiddling with the pen and looking like, yo, what's up? Like it's really weird. So anyway, we're gonna take this thing home. Mike, you got the bonus question.
All right. For the bonus question this week, we were actually talking about it quite a bit earlier. We were talking about different theme songs and everything. But what are some of your, maybe not the best ones that everyone always goes to, but like what are some theme songs for you that like are underrated, that nobody really talks about, that like stuck out to you or like hit you in a special way?
Oh, for me, just rattling off some off the top of my head, Brood.
Yeah, that's a really good one. Nobody really talks about that much anymore.
Yeah,
that's one of my favorites.
The Brood theme song. The Attitude Era, they nailed the theme songs. And now, so, I don't know if everybody realizes this, but Jim Johnston, who used to do all the theme songs, he's still with them, but he's been moved over, and he just basically works on soundtrack stuff for the films.
Yeah.
For the WWE films. And they have this group, these two guys that are producers, CFO.
They do a great job.
And they do a good job, but like you can almost tell like when they're writing certain themes in the same time frame vicinity.
Oh, sure.
Because like Cesaro, Ambrose, and Rollins all sound very similar to each other.
It's almost like they have the same sound package that they're working with on their software, and it's almost they're just using they're recycling a lot, or changing things just a tad. Or I've noticed a lot of drums sound the same, a lot of guitars sound the same. Not necessarily the riffs that they're playing, but like the guitar tones that they're using, or even like the really heavy bass drums, really punchy, kicky bass drums. They're putting a double pedal in everything. Everything has to be rocking, like really, really hard rock stuff, with the exception of like maybe a couple here and there. But it's all just like really rocking out stuff.
They've been doing that commercial lately. With it just like debuted, I think like this week, with Sasha Banks on the tobacco thing. There's like the real cost. You can't be a boss, or whatever she says. But they have her theme playing, and then it like fades out, and they just have like the piano accompaniment in the background. Yeah. And her theme's like nailed out of the park. That one's really good.
Anyone that's come up from NXT has had amazing.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying is like I like them all, but I could definitely see how some may.
I don't think Cesaro, Rollins, and Ambrose
kind of
was. I think that was Jim Johnston now, because I think CFOs started.
CFOs.
Oh, were they?
Yeah.
Because I thought they started with some of the NXT stuff.
I know for a fact that Seth Rollins is CFO. You can just tell.
Okay.
Yeah, even Owens. Owens is down-tuned a lot more, but it's like a similar vibe to it.
I like that in NXT what they're doing is they're using like necessarily like a style of music, like Glorious. You can tell that's based off of like Queen or Muse or something like that. And even I noticed this, and I don't have a good ear for music, but I think I texted you and was like, Sanity's theme, does that sound like Primus to you? And you're like, dude, it's almost identical.
Yeah. But yeah, I told you guys before, I've listened to the Glorious theme at least 15 times.
Absolutely.
In the past, like not even full week.
Let's go back though too, because like there's some stuff that probably people haven't listened to in a long time. Honky Tonk Man song.
Yes, that's a really good one.
Duh.
What my personal favorite that's like underrated, because I have ones that are more people know about.
And that's what your question is. Your favorite
like underrated one that Mr. Perfect's theme song. I don't think I've ever heard anybody say, "Wow, his theme was really good," but I really loved Mr. Perfect's theme song. It was great. I love it. Yeah, I like Ty Dillinger's theme song. That's really good.
That is a good one.
That's a really cool one.
But I don't know if I would call it underrated quite yet, because I don't think it has had the time to be rated.
Okay, yeah.
So to speak, you know what I'm saying?
I'll give you that.
We'll see in like 2 or 3 years.
I would say Nakamura and Bobby Roode's themes are more overrated. Not overrated, but they're great themes, and they've had just as long as Ty Dillinger has had.
Sure, that's a valid point.
I used to like the old And, like WCW, I always loved that they just like somehow they got away with taking popular songs because they could not have been paying the royalties for all the songs.
No, they just did really shitty covers of them.
Didn't Sting have Seek and Destroy from Metallica?
He did for a little bit, yeah.
DDP had Nirvana.
Yeah.
And then, what do you call it? Hulk Hogan had Voodoo Child by Hendrix.
Yeah.
By Hendrix, yeah.
And then the
Eric Bischoff did have Back in Black.
He had back.
Or was that in WWE?
No. He had the. It was like a. It sounded like AC/DC, but it wasn't AC/DC. Yeah.
It's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well, something underrated from you that you can.
I'm not gonna say it's a masterpiece, but it was really iconic for the time, and that was actually the New Age Outlaws theme. Was really cool. I mean, because DX was obviously awesome and iconic, but I mean you get a little offspring from that or predecessor, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that one was cool. It was really simple. But, I mean, just to start off with, oh, you didn't know, that got people going.
Yeah.
All these one little riff.
Yep. I love...
like that.
We're going to have a show where you just play music.
Jim Johnson was like, hell-bent on using a ton of cymbals.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. And they were all clearly digital symbols, like, for the time.
Oh, he's the MIDI man.
Wicked.
He's the MIDI man.
Which, like, back in the day, I mean, that's what you had to work with, and, like, it just went right overhead, and it was just awesome music.
There's actually
but now you
great...
listen to it now, and it's so, like analogish, like, in the worst way, though, not in a good way, like...
Yeah, for anybody listening, there's a great... I think it's under the Beyond the Ring section. There's a great documentary of the music of WWE. It's actually it's not friggin' long enough. It should be longer. But he goes through how he composed a lot of the older themes, and like he breaks down the Undertaker's themes and stuff. And
there's a full DVD on it that's like
great.
3 hours. You should watch.
That was great.
Yeah.
Do you have that?
I do not.
Son of a bitch, scumbag Mike.
What is that? What's that, a shortened version of it? That they
for the Beyond the Rings, they usually just throw up like a documentary, like the documentary part of the DVD. On the DVD part itself, it has a list of intros that you can watch. It has more like exclusive interviews with him where he talks a little bit about more specific
I would love to hear that. But yeah, he even talks about, what was it, Lil' Kim came by in the studio and like ruined his like beautiful hardwood floors with her like stilettos or some shit like that. Like
scumbag Kim.
Yeah, well, oh my God, Lil' Kim with her nipples hanging out. But no, that I can't stand these friggin' bonus questions. These
they throw you off guard.
They catch you so off guard where you know that you're probably not going to give your best answer.
Next week,
and on your drive home, you go, son of a bitch, I should have said this. So like, and then now it's too late. No shit. But like, I literally, I want to spend a couple more minutes talking right now because spitball some more because I know there's more.
So some more like theme songs and bonus topics.
No. Really, theme songs that were underrated but awesome in your opinion.
In my opinion, I don't know if it's underrated, but I like Macho Man's song. I don't think that's underrated at all.
It's not underrated.
Pomp and Circumstance.
Yeah.
Man, when I hear that, I just get hyped. I like.
Dun, 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 dun,
I love
dun,
Randy Orton's first song.
Nice.
Oh, it was so much better than
I loved his first song.
One,
I don't like the.
The one's like.
Yeah.
You're not a fan of I Have Horses in My Hand?
No. Have you ever heard his original?
I have.
It's so much better. I think they're the same band too.
Yeah.
It was a much better song.
CM Punk's original, "This Fire Burns." I forgot the
Kill Switch.
Yeah, that was a really good song.
Batista.
But I guess that wasn't. Oh, the "I Walk Alone."
But let's just end with the one everybody can agree on: "Line in the Sand" by Motorhead.
That was. I
Evolution.
don't know if it's underrated or not, but maybe not recognized enough, or because of Evolution.
It's talked about a lot in our group.
Yeah,
because we always just talk about it.
Speaking of which,
that is an incredible song. If you ever go out, all right, this is in order, and it's straight from Tobin. All right, to our listeners, if you ever go out with a bunch of your buddies and you want to hit the streets, or you guys are getting all dolled up, and you want to go for some opposite sex or same sex if you will interactions, and you want to do that whole thing, and you want to get in that right mindset, throw on "Line in the Sand" from Motorhead. Before you
put
do
on
that,
your nicest suit.
Yeah, you got to put on
sunglasses.
A suit. Preferably, sunglasses. It better be nighttime if you're going to be wearing those damn sunglasses. If you've got hair, let it flow in the wind and light up a cigar and just prepare with that song and then hit the streets and see if you don't have one of the best nights of your friggin' life. That's an order straight from Tony.
What were you going to say?
I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
I threw you off, right?
Yeah. Well, anyway, I think we can wrap it up on that note.
Absolutely.
And
next week, I'm going to bring some more songs to the table. By the way, that's going to happen.
Next week,
you break down the tempo.
Because I'll tell you right now, the New Age Outlaws theme isn't my favorite underrated song.
Yeah.
It's just one.
That's
that
why I said not your favorite.
mind.
Just one that came. The first one that came to your mind.
I want more. I want more. The viewers want more. Tell you what, if anybody,
we're at an hour and 20 right now.
Nobody
I don't
wants
think they
more.
want any more.
Anybody made it to this point in time in the podcast, please comment and tell us some of your favorites.
Yeah.
And
we say this every week. Nobody cares.
Yeah,
we say it every week.
Cares. But maybe it's gonna be like you've seen the South Park episode where with is it Kip Jordy or whatever it is, like the friend on Facebook where like he doesn't have any friends. He doesn't have any friends, and then all of a sudden he gets that one like.
Yeah.
And it's the best day of his entire life.
Yep.
And
then they pick on the kid that liked them.
Yeah. We get that one message, and we're like, oh, we've become famous.
All right. So that about does it.
You know, on second thought, no, go for it.
That about does it for episode 12 of the Authority Wrestling Podcast. Mike, where can you find us?
You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/authority-on-wrestling, on YouTube at youtube.com/authority-on-wrestling, and on Twitter at twitter.com/AOWpodcast.
All right,
Wonderful.
So go follow us, like us, give us comments, give us likes.
Talk to us.
Start doing
Interact.
stuff.
We're alive. This is a thing.
Oh, God.
So-
we're going to stop doing
Seriously,
this if you don't
We're
give us feedback.
so down on ourselves right now.
3 months in, we've got maybe 4 comments.
Oh, my
Like
God.
that.
Yeah.
I think they've been from you, from your personal
Yeah.
stuff.
I hope we get one random person that none of us know somehow.
Yes.
And it just says, "You guys suck." And I'll be super to be like,
I would
"Holy
take-
shit!"
Give us negative feedback.
Yes.
Anything.
So, things are getting pretty dire on the Authority on Wrestling Podcast.
God.
Thank you guys once again for listening, if you even made it this far. And have a great week. We'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, and on behalf of Tobin, who's not here, fuck money.